All right, today we're going to go over some ideas to make a homemade instrument. So here's a book called Let's Make Music. We play our instruments and make music together. Well, this instrument right here is taking two trash can lids and banging them together to make an instrument kind of like a cymbal. We crash the cymbals and make long noise. So this right here is a pair of real cymbals, but maybe if you don't have real cymbals, you could always take two lids from two frying pans and crash them together like this. And that's gonna sound a lot like real cymbals. We bang the drums fast and slow. So guess what? I have an example of some real drums here and it's something that's not really a real drum, but it sounds like a real drum. So here is a real drum, and here is a coffee can. So I have a really big coffee can with a lid on it. When I tap it, it sounds like a real drum. So again, here's comparison. Maybe you have a coffee can with a lid on it, or maybe you have an empty container from oatmeal. That will work. There's all different kinds of containers that you can get like this that are empty and leave the lid on it, and it will sound like a drum. We shake the bells and make them ring. So obviously at school, we have real bells like this, but I doubt you have a gigantic real bell thing like this, but you might have a little tiny small bell left over from when we did Polar Express one of the other years at home. So if you did Polar Express, maybe you have a single bell, and it can make a noise like this. Oh, that's still a sound, right? That's still an instrument. We hit the keys of the xylophone. So maybe we have, well, for example, in music class, we have a real xylophone. But if you don't have a real xylophone at home, maybe you have a toy xylophone at home. And this still makes a beautiful sound too. So if you have a toy one, that's actually still somewhat of an instrument. It still makes noise, it will still work. I make music with pots and pans with spoons. So if you do not have maybe two pot lids, you can always use the bottom of an old pan and use it with spoons. Of course, you have to ask your mom and dad first, because I don't want you to bang a really good pot and pan and make any dents in it or anything. So make sure you get one that's maybe a little bit older that maybe your parents don't care about that much. I shake and tap my tambourine. So maybe you have a real tambourine. If you do, that is really awesome. We have a real tambourine here at school. Or maybe you have a dollar store tambourine. Still sounds really good. So here's a real one. Dollar store. They sound very similar. So you can still get a dollar store tambourine and it will still sound awesome. Here's another instrument maybe you have at your house. Maybe you have a brother or sister at Liberty Drive. It's called a recorder. Now a recorder looks like a toy. Sometimes even sounds like a toy, but actually the recorder is a very, very old type of a flute. The original recorders were made out of wood and not out of plastic. So I think mostly they look like a toy right now because they're made out of plastic. But if they were really made out of wood, I think people would think it's a real instrument more. And this is what a recorder looks like. So maybe your brother or sister has one of these at Liberty Drive. And this is what a recorder looks like. Well, if you have any other ideas to make a homemade instrument at home, you can send me a message on Dojo. Or maybe you have a real instrument. Maybe you have a recorder. Maybe you have a piano keyboard. Maybe you have a guitar. Maybe you have drums. Please send me a message and let me know what you have or what you're willing to help make so we can make music at home. Thank you.